Hey guys, and welcome to week 6. This week we are moving into our small group section of our American Literature and Composition class. So as you guys can see, we're going to have some group rules and we're going to do some group scenarios, and so we can have some more discussion-based assessments for this class. This is the opportunity for you and group members to work and solve problems together in a small group setting. So you guys can scroll all the way down to the bottom to our most recent text, Text 4 and Text 5. Text 4 is where we start today, and we'll do our first practice group assignment, and then Text 5 we'll spend 3 days on, and our third day will be a discussion-based class. So make sure that you're here Thursday and ready. So Text 4. We're going to begin by discussing group rules. You'll need to add 2 rules of your own to this discussion. And then in the group discussion, you'll actually answer this question, thinking about the question that it provides about teams and should they have more or less freedom. Then for the text that we're reading, it's called From the United States Constitution, a Graphic Adaptation. You will have a comprehension sheet. For each comprehension, just like usual, you've got the link at the bottom for your copy. You've got the standards here, and you have instructions here. The instructions ask you to open a copy, share it with your group members so that you all have the same copy, and then when you are all finished, to submit here the copy that everyone's filled out. So when you open that, you'll have the opportunity to make a copy. And there are different boxes for different group members. There's instructions here if you are independent. There's instructions here if you are in a group. Just because you're online does not mean you can't be part of a group. We'll talk about that in classes. Each group member's name goes in the box. The 3 boxes go with 3 different sections. You have the vocab section, you have the comprehension section, and you have the summary and essential questions section. So 3 groups to 3 people to a group max. If you have less, like 2 people, you can have one person do the vocab and the summary essential question, or you could have one person do the vocab, one person do the summary and essential question, and then maybe you break up the comprehension section and each of you does odds or evens or whatever. And in that case, you put both your names in this box. So that's an option as you fill that out today. And then this last one, as a group, you pick one of these and answer that question. So this one evaluates what you learned that day. Has some higher level questions. And as a group, you answer it together and type that in. When you are done with that assignment, you all submit your own copy here. Obviously, each of you will have your names in the boxes, but everyone's copy you need to submit your own copy to get your grade, even though your grade will be on somebody else's paper as well. You need to submit yours here to get a grade. So going back to our folder, we had the discussion to start, we had the comprehension, and then you have every time you finish your group section, you'll have a group grade form. And in that group grade form, it's a Google form. You start by saying what text you read. So in this case, you just copy paste from here, put it here. You start with your name, which sections you did, and you do all the sections you did. So if you worked by yourself, fill in all 3. If you did vocab and you and a friend did comprehension together, then you click vocab and comprehension. You don't need to specify that you'll need to half of it, just all the sections that you were part of. How did you do as a participant with the 6 Ps? Did you do all 6? If you didn't do the work and you didn't turn it in, you don't get those 2. If you were not kind and not helpful with your group, probably didn't get those 2. And if you weren't here and you weren't ready, you probably didn't get those 2. So keep those in mind. Then you have the same questions for group member 2 and 3. You, of course, are group member 1. The next section, let me pull back to the folder so you guys can see it, is an important question. Our next essay answers the question, what are the most effective tools for establishing freedom? So we'll be returning to the idea of tools multiple times. And this one is talking about more or less freedom and how you answered your discussion question at the beginning of class today with a short story And then your job is to answer questions 1, 2, and 3 to pay attention to tools that gained and lost freedom for this, the kid in the story. So that ends text 4. The last thing I want to highlight for you guys today is that each of your folders will have the texts at the bottom. So this one only has the PDF because the Savas version doesn't really make sense because today it is a graphic, like a graphic novel. If you want to open it not in Schoology, you can download it and open it. Otherwise, you see that the vocab section is here. It's very specific vocab today. And then it's images that tell the story of the Constitution. So you'll read the comic book here. And that's why I've only uploaded the, let me go back. That's why I only uploaded the PDF version because it makes more sense, I think, than the Savas version, which does not read it out loud to you like it usually does. So when you are doing the comprehension section, you and your group decide how to divide up this reading, since you will need to be reading out loud, and maybe you have one person read each page, starting with the background. Maybe you have one person read each panel. Any of that would be acceptable. But look at the pictures and the way that the images portray people as well, because that will help you to better understand the story of the Constitution. Tomorrow we'll be reading a different version of the history of the Constitution, and then we'll of course be comparing them, contrasting them, and discussing them on Thursday. So that's text 4. Text 5 then is from America's Constitution, a biography. Starts with a question. This reminds you to read yesterday's version. And you can read the summary before you begin and then do the comprehension questions. Just like with text 4, the comprehension questions are here. Open that link. Make a copy. And then share your copy with your partners so that everybody is editing the same draft. That way each section gets filled out by your partners while you are filling out your section. And then remember, you'll have to turn in your own submission here. Going back to the folder. After the comprehension section, you have the group grade form. And then you have a final question about an analogy. The next day you will have an assignment. This will likely be independent. And then we'll end with a discussion about tools for freedom, which will move us into the last day this week, Thursday, where we'll have a good debate. Talk about which of those texts better conveys history of the Constitution, whether the graphic version did or the biography version did. And then you'll participate in the discussion. The discussion will happen Thursday. So that's it. Email me with questions.